evening, everybody, and thank you for making time to be with us this evening. We appreciate you prioritizing this opportunity to learn a little bit more about the College of Education and the graduate programs that we offer within the college. Throughout the evening, you will be able to get to hear from our my amazing colleagues and our amazing advisors, and then Dean Friend and myself about what we offer, and then give you time and space for some questions. So this is just an overview of what you can expect tonight. I think it maybe would be helpful for the folks on the call to maybe do a brief interview, brief introductions, just so we can know who is on the call. We will do that here shortly, but this is the agenda. Dean Friend will give a welcome. I'll go over some of the things that we have to offer by way of student-centeredness, and then we actually will have Emily Stevens covering School of Teaching and Learning. We'll have Katelyn covering Sport and Leadership Studies. We'll have Nichole covering the Teacher Apprentice and Pathways and Literacy Education Program. And then we actually will have Josh. Josh is on the call. We will have him going over CLES if that is a-okay with you, Josh. Good? Perfect. All right. So we will get started in a moment. This is just a brief overview of the folks in our dean's office. We'll have Dean Friend give her introduction here shortly when she goes over her first slide. Associate Dean Mike Ross for Faculty and Staff Affairs. I am Bobby once again, Assistant Dean for Students and Strategic Initiatives. We also have Associate Dean Heidi Stinchcomb, who is our Associate Dean for Research and Assessment. And we have our friends on the call, our advisors. So if we don't mind going in order of as shown on screen, so we'll kick it off to you, Emily.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Stevens. I'm the Director of Advising here in the College of Education. I specifically advise for our elementary education students as well as our physical education students. And with undergraduate advising just a little bit, we can help bridge you to some of your graduate programs. Any one of our undergraduate advisors can do that. So if you ever have any questions, you ever want to come to any of us to ask questions about your graduate program, we are friends and we can get you connected with your graduate program that you are interested in. So don't ever hesitate to ask. So, hi.
And Nicole.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nichole Woods. I'm the lead academic advisor for the College of Education. I work right alongside Emily as an undergraduate advisor. The specific program that I advise for is going to be the Teacher Apprentice program, which is an online education program for students who are looking to go for their initial teaching license in early childhood and elementary education.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Next up, we have Joshua Elliott.
Hello, everyone. I am the advisor for the CLES department. I specifically advise for the graduate programs of counseling, educational psychology, educational leadership, school psychology, and our latest degree, applied behavior analysis. So welcome, everybody.
Thank you so much, Josh. And Katelyn.
Hello, everyone. I'm Katelyn Schrage. I am the undergraduate advisor for sport management as well as organizational leadership and learning. And for our graduate programs, I am the advisor for our Masters of Education in Sport Management. So I'm looking forward to any questions that you guys might have. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to give our participants on the call an opportunity to introduce themselves. So I'm going to go in order in which I see you on my screen. So I believe, Amy, you are up first, if you don't mind.
Hi, my name is Amy Nichole, and I'm currently getting my bachelor's in the OLL, and I would like to pursue leadership studies.
All right, thank you so much for being here, Amy. Brooke.
Hi, my name is Brooke Reed, and I'm graduating with my bachelor's degree in education, and I'm interested in some of the literacy pathways.
All right, thank you so much for being here.
Yep.
Miranda, if you're able. Okay, maybe we'll circle back to Miranda and Harvey, if you're able to.
Maybe.
Yes.
My name is Harvey Tuzio. I am currently getting a bachelor's. Oh, my camera is really low. I'm sorry. I'm currently getting the bachelor's in psychology with a minor in criminal justice, and I'm interested in school psychology.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, Miranda dropped in the chat. She's having some microphone issues. So hopefully she's able to get that figured out. But until then, we will keep our scheduled program rolling. And so up next, wanted to kick it over to Dean Friend to talk about mission, vision, and values.
Thank you so much. I'm Jennifer Friend, Dean here in the College of Education, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this evening. I wanted to just go over our college mission and vision and values to give you an idea of kind of our community. We really want to empower our students, and we want you all to become professionals with both the skills and the knowledge that you need for success. You will experience not only the educational activities, but you'll have opportunities in graduate programs to engage in some research. We really embrace innovation and have community engagement and a lot of experiential and applied learning opportunities. And ultimately, we want to empower our students to promote local and global change. And in our vision statement, we want to be a collaborative community and help to enrich lives and strengthen communities through that active engagement to promote generational success. And each year we really focus on one of our educational values. This year, that value is leadership, but our other values include collaboration, community, innovation, and learning. And so this is part of what brings us together. We have a lot of different programs within our college, but these are our common mission, vision, and values. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Jen. So, giving you a little bit of an overview of the college, this is our infograph, spring infograph, giving you a little bit of a highlight in who we are and what we do. Currently, we have five departments within the college. We have our CLES department, which you'll hear about, TALS as well, which houses our teacher apprentice program, School of Teaching and Learning, our Human Performance Studies, and our Sport and Leadership Studies. We currently also house our varsity esports, and of course, we have our College of Education Advising Center, which obviously you get to see some of these fine folks on the call. One thing that we're really proud of within our college is that 57.4% of our undergraduate students are first gen, which obviously that leads over into our graduate students. We also have about 35% or ish of our graduate students identify as first gen. We have over 350 plus affiliation agreements. One thing that we're really proud of is the fact that we're very deeply connected, not only within school districts, but nonprofit areas as well, not only within the city of Wichita, but beyond. And so that's one thing that we're really proud of. As you can also see, we house our teacher apprentice program, which is the largest online program, actually largest degree program here at the university. So we're very proud about that. And then you can see some of our enrollment numbers, 22,835 credit hours that we produced in the spring. So we have a very healthy undergraduate and graduate student enrollment. And then you can see here the degrees conferred, and we're looking forward to graduation here in a couple weeks, and we get to update those numbers. And so we appreciate you once again for being here, but that's just a little bit of the College of Education. And now I want to talk to you specifically about how we support our students. I call this the 4 S's of student-centeredness. One thing is scholarship. So one thing I'm really excited about that we're actually standing up next week is our scholarship selection committee. The intention there is to make sure that we're doing right by our students and being able to provide them as much opportunity to not only be successful within the classroom, but to remove any barriers that may prevent them from being able to engage in the education where they would like to. We have 22, I counted, scholarships specifically for our graduate students. So great opportunity for our graduate students to be able to receive dollars and funds to be able to go towards their education. And this committee will help to make sure that we are awarding those scholarships efficiently and effectively. So hopefully, if you're interested in our programs, that you've taken the time to be able to apply to Scholarship Universe, and we are able to award you at some point in time if you choose to enter our programs. Success coaching is one of the things that we do really well here. In my personal opinion, we do it the best at the university. We have a high success rate of engaging our students at a high level by utilizing the CELES platform, which is a student early alert system. So even within our graduate programs, we do have a success coach that supports our students to be able to help meet them where they are and to remove any potential barriers to them being successful. Schedule and flexibility, my colleagues will talk about this, but one thing about our programs is we take our students first and try to find ways, not only times of day, but offerings that meet them, meet the needs that they have. So you will notice a lot of our programs have some level of flexibility, whether it's the meeting time, the offering, whether it's hybrid or in person, and we really try to complement the life that you all have to meet you where you are. Last but not least is our support networks. I think we do really well, but having community within that, apply learning, access to your advisors, access to your faculty, smaller, tight-knit community within our courses, cohort models for some. So really, once again, really establishing that sense of community that leads to that level of support to get you through that finish line. And so that, my friends, is the four S's of student-centeredness. And once again, my job primarily is to make sure that we are living into all of these things. So we take that once again as a priority here within the college. So with that being said, I want to be able to kick it over to my friend Emily to talk about some of the things that we offer by way of the School of Teaching and Learning. So Emily, I will kick it over to you.
Awesome, guys. So there wasn't anyone that was necessarily stating that they were interested in one of these programs, but these I will kind of overview with you just so you know what options are out there in especially the learning and instructional design. That is one graduate program I get a lot of questions about because no one really knows what it covers or what I can do with it just based on the title, unlike, special education or counseling. But learning and instructional design is a very diverse degree that you can go into. We also have an accelerated option that you can look into depending on where you're at in your plan. Accelerated option just means that we can take up to those 3 classes of undergraduate coursework to actually carry over into this specific program. So it's a great option if you wanted to get a head start into your graduate program. This is a great option. So learning and instructional design is for those students that really like curriculum. They like building some of these programs and plans out. A lot of my students that may be interested in if they want to be a teacher and they're going to be a teacher, maybe you create a reading literacy program and you want to go into that sort of instructional coach or something like that. I've also had students that go into higher education and they want to teach the teachers. So they go into this program as well to be able to dive deeper into the curriculum. So I always say there's a lot of different sides to education and teaching specifically, but this is one that you can dive into if you wanted to go into higher education or you wanted to go into some sort of program design or instruction design, that sort of thing. So it is a very diverse program that can be done online and has a lot of options. So if this is ever something you want to tap into and maybe look at what that might look like from start to finish for you and the courses, you can always reach out to myself, along with if you're kind of early in your bachelor's degree program and you want to go ahead and tackle this as an accelerated option, definitely reach out to me as well. It's a great program and a lot of great things come from that. The transition to teaching program is an alternative certification, as you can see on here. This is for those that maybe your bachelor's degree was not in education. You didn't get initially licensed to teach, but you want to come back to that. I have a lot of students that their degree was in math and they didn't find that dream job for them and they want to get into education. This allows for them for their bachelor's degree content to actually get licensed. And there's a graduate, you can get your master's degree just with additional coursework in that program that a lot of students like to kind of up their scale on pay and take that next leap into getting a master's degree. So it's a great option. I always say, even if your bachelor's degree is not in the content that you're wanting to teach, we have routes to get you there. I had a military student, actually, he went through, he finished and is actually going to be retiring, and he went through the program for transition to teaching. He's actually currently taking all of his content courses. So he has a bachelor's degree, but it wasn't necessarily in the content he wanted to teach. There's still a way for you to go to that program, and we help them to get all their content courses completed. So that way they're ready to take that praxis exam to get licensed and find that job to go through. So even if your bachelor's degree and you're like, my bachelor's degree is not the content, I can't go into that program, there's a path to still enter into that program if you want to get licensed. And this would be for secondary. So this would be from grades 6 through 12. There are some options for pre-K to 12th grade for like physical education and things like that, that is an option as well. But most of the content areas to get licensed would be 6 through 12 for that program. So it's a great program. It's very flexible in how they offer those courses as well online. They have some hybrid as well if they want some interaction and come in to the classroom, which is always great to see. That what Dr. Berry was talking about with the cohort model, this is one of those programs that does have that strong cohort model that they get to stay together. And a lot of times you get to see some pictures of them when they're graduating and moving on to their classroom as well. So a great option to be able to initially get licensed if that's what you want, but I've been seeing a lot of our students continue on for that additional year and get that master's degree for you. So those are the two programs for the School of Teaching and Learning.
Up next, I will kick it over to Katelyn to talk about some of the opportunities in sport and leadership studies. Do remember, we will give you plenty of time for question and answers if you have any by time we finish. So, Katelyn, over to you.
Thanks, Bobby. Okay, so we have a few different programs that I wanted to share with you all today. I'm going to go ahead and start on the right side of the screen here with our graduate certificates. These are going to be more so of those leadership style certs that we really do like to promote. They're 15 credit hour graduate certificates. We have two different ones. We have one in organizational learning. This is going to be more so for people that are wanting to pursue more of that professional development within their career. So if you're in a management position, or even if you're not in a management position, but you're wanting to potentially move up a little bit, start building those programs, that would be a good option for you. And our other one that I wanted to go over to is our organizational leadership certificate. So this is for those students that are wanting to potentially continue climbing that career ladder, either in their career that they're currently in, or if they're wanting to pursue a new career. This will help you with those leadership development, as well as communication development, that style of skills. I think that these would be really great options for those that are wanting to just continue with that leadership or pursue more leadership knowledge and skills. So these are completely online, so it provides that flexibility for you if you're working full time and you can't just find the time to go to an in-person class. Nice thing is like I said, we are 100% online, so you wouldn't have to worry about going to class or logging into Zooms or anything like that, which can really help, especially during a very busy time, very busy lives. So we definitely try to make it as flexible as we can. So as you can see there as well, we require 3 credit hours of applied learning. So kind of like what Bobby was touching on earlier with that applied learning, or I'm sorry, Dean Friend was talking about applied learning. So applied learning is just looking like, if you're currently already in a job, you can use those hours towards those certificate applied learning hours, which is always nice, but you're not required to stay there if you wanted to pursue something else as well. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to our sport management program. So this is going to be a Master's of Education program. So we're looking at a 30 credit hour program, so maybe not as big as some of our other programs here today, but definitely still very quality, and we definitely like to promote it as well. So just looking into it, we like I said, it's a 30 credit hour program, but this is also going to be 100% online. So no Zooms, it's completely on your own. And with that being said as well, a nice thing about these courses is that they're going to be 8-week classes. So, if you like more of that sped up pace, but you're still, taking, let's say 9 credit hours, but you're really only taking 1 or 2 classes at a time throughout the semester. So that's nice, and it provides that flexibility as well. And with it being a little bit of a shorter program, you can get it completed in 1 full calendar year if you're wanting to pursue it full time. A little bit longer if you're pursuing it part-time, which is perfectly normal. We have plenty of students doing that as well. But as you can see here, we do not require a thesis. We do not have a comp exam anymore. So a lot of our students have really liked that aspect of our program as well. And one last thing I'll touch on here as well is going to be the different career paths that we're looking at within sport management. So a lot of our students are coming out as athletic directors, athlete agents, analysts, public relations professionals. So we definitely like that more business side of sport, and we really like continuing that education for those students that either might be coming up from our undergraduate program or those that might have a degree in something else, but they're wanting to pursue that sport field. So if you guys have any questions, like Bobby said, we'll get to those at the end, but I definitely want to give some time for other people to go over their programs, and I'm happy to go over any questions at the end.
Thank you so much, Katelyn. All right, we are moving on to TALs, and I will turn it over to Nichole.
Hi, everyone. So our department, the TALS department, houses the teacher apprentice program, and it also houses the master's in special education, and then those alternative certificate pathways, and it also houses the master's of arts in teaching. So I'm going to give a little bit of a quick overview of those options. I'm going to start with the master's in special education. This program is designed for educators that wish to become licensed in special education, with general licensing outcomes in either high incidence or low incidence, including grades K through 12th grade. Now, for just a few additional credits, students can also become eligible to obtain dual endorsement for these licenses in both high and low incidence. So that's something that I know that this program markets and something to kind of consider when you're looking at degree plans. If you're just wanting to take a couple more credits, you can earn a dual endorsement for both high and low. Low incidence concentration is going to focus more on learning and behavioral needs, the high incidence concentration will focus on more of the learning and behavioral needs, whereas the low incidence concentration is focusing on more of like significant and like complex needs, more severe intellectual and developmental disabilities. We also have the alternative certification pathway for special education. That is specifically designed for students who do not have a previous bachelor's degree in education, but are looking to become a licensed special education teacher. This alternative certificate track generally is about 37 hours in comparison to the traditional track that I just reviewed, that's about 30 hours. Now, students in the teacher apprentice program do have the opportunity to do the accelerated bachelor's to master's in special education. This allows those students who are pursuing their bachelor's degree with us in TAP to take up to 9 credit hours of graduate level courses in special education, which will allow them to earn dual credit. So those special education courses are applying towards their undergraduate degree and their master's of degree in special education. This essentially allows you to get a head start on your master's program. By the time that you graduate from your bachelor's, you would have 1 semester completed of your master's degree, which is a really great head start. Sorry, Bobby, I didn't realize it was on another slide there. I'll make you switch over. So yeah, that's a little bit of a recap of the special education options and then that accelerated pathway for students in their bachelor's in the teacher apprentice program. The next program that I kind of want to take a look at is the Master of Arts in Teaching. This program is a 36-hour program and it focuses on early childhood unified, but also offers a concentration in elementary education unified. This program is designed for students who are currently working as para-educators who are seeking to earn their master's degree while they're working. This program does not necessarily require students to have a bachelor's degree within the field of education to be eligible. It is also available to students who just have a degree in diverse, interested in obtaining their initial teaching license. The Reading and Structured Literacy is a great graduate certificate that supports students' knowledge and integration of literacy in multiple content areas. This is a 16-hour certificate for educators who wish to advance their knowledge and skills in teaching literacy in the classroom. What's really great about graduate certificates is if a student is pursuing their master's or doctorate degrees, those degrees are going to require elective credit hours. So students who are pursuing a master's degree that need electives can, go through a certificate, obtain their certificate, but those certificate hours can also count towards the electives for their master's degree. So that is something that I definitely recommend if you're someone who's interested in pursuing a master's to also look into graduate certificate options. So you can get your certificate, but also use those hours as electives towards your master's or doctorate degree as well. And this reading and structured literacy is an option for that. I do not specifically advise for some of these graduate level programs in regards to the Masters of Art in Teaching and special education. However, if you are interested in this, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I am happy to connect you with Angela Aubrey, who is not able to be with us today, but she will be able to review a little bit more in depth in regards to the program credit hours and maybe a degree plan if you have any specific questions regarding that.
Thank you so much, Nicole. We appreciate you. And then last but certainly not least, Josh.
Hello, everyone. We have quite a few graduate programs in the department that I specifically advise for. So I'm just going to start with counseling. It is a 60 credit hour program. The end goal of our counseling master's in education is to get your LPC, which is a licensed professional counselor, or go towards school counseling. We do also offer an emphasis in sports or addiction counseling. And you'd be using the electives that are built in for clinical mental health counseling. That is 3 electives. You'd be using those towards getting additional educational courses in each emphasis. Now, the program is hybrid, so you would be having online, hybrid, and fully in-person courses for clinical mental health. School counseling is starting to offer more online options. At the end of the program, you will have received all of the supervision hours required to receive your LPC licensure. All you have to do is take the NCE, which is the licensing exam, or the Praxis 2, which would license you for school counseling. We also offer a few certificates that you can use your electives towards. Child play therapy in particular, if you are wanting to work with that demographic. It is 2 additional courses over the 3 electives that are built into the program, but you can use both towards both the certificate and the counseling degree. It takes about 2 years to complete, but a really great thing is you don't need to have an undergrad specifically in psychology or counseling. You can come to the program with a general, liberal arts degree, and you receive all of the required training in program. Now, the second one we offer, the Master's of Education and the doctoral degree in educational leadership. This is a little specific. For the Master's in Educational Leadership, we have a licensure track and a non-licensure track. This is typically going towards building level leadership if you're going on the licensure track. So for this, you will need 3 years of experience in a school setting, either teaching or being a licensed teacher. We also offer a certificate for building level leadership, which only requires 5 years of experience, and then you can reduce the course load from the original 30 credit hours that are required for this program. For the doctoral program in educational leadership, it is a cohort model. It's 55 credit hours. And this is really for students and educational professionals who want to pursue the pathway further in educational administration, who really enjoy working with students and in the school system, whether universities or in the K through 12 grade levels. If we could actually move on to the next slide, please. Sorry. Okay, now educational psychology. There are two options for this. There's a 32 credit hour thesis option or a non-thesis option for 33 credit hours. This again really sets you up for working as an administrator in a university setting. You can also work in the private sector, military, hospitals, building training and implementing that training in those work environments. And built into the educational psychology masters and actually also the educational leadership doctoral program, we have a mentoring and coaching certificate that you can add on. No additional classes. You'd be using your electives towards that, and that just gives you further options going forward, designing mentoring and coaching programs, working with students. It's a really great option. You'll be working one-on-one with faculty and our professors with research and great option if administrative educational administration is what you're working towards. For our PhD, we have two new programs. They're not fully online. They're also hybrid, but we have one for specifically clinical mental health counseling educators. So again, that would be the end goal of being a professor in a counseling program, providing supervision for counseling students so they can get those hours in. And then we also have the PhD in education and behavioral studies with the emphasis in educational psychology. And again, that is more towards if you're wanting to work as a professor in educational psychology, working in educational administration and pursuing those pathways. We also, some of our certificates can be built into that as well. The mentoring and coaching and teaching in higher education can be used towards that as well. Can we skip to the next slide? Sorry. Thank you so much. And then we also have a new degree program, fully online, 36 credit hours. For the Applied Behavior Analysis program. Now, that is going to be working towards your BCBA. We provide 240 hours of supervision, but you can work with our coordinators to get the rest of the required supervision hours in. So when you complete the program, you would be taking the test and soon to receive, as long as you pass it, your BCBA. And that again is 36 credit hours fully online. And it takes about 4 semesters to complete at the fastest. So again, you can, move through it and get that licensure if you are looking to work more as a clinician, but, not necessarily work specifically as a counselor in the school setting, school counseling or clinical mental health counseling. Then we also offer a specialist degree in school psychology. Now, for this degree, you can either start at the master's level or the bachelor's level. If you start at the master's level, you have a reduced 39 credit that you would have to complete. We do have to make sure you've had some of those prereqs that are required. So there could be additional classes depending on what your transcript looks like. But the EDS is 60 credit hours. These are fully online, and built into the school psychology program is also the Applied Behavior Analysis certificate. So using your 3 electives, you could also be working towards getting your BCBA as well. You would have to get additional supervision hours in. But again, having both options available to you it's a great program, fully online, 60 credit hours, and it takes around 2 years to complete as well. And most of our programs do have certificates that are built in. So you can be getting not only your master's, but a certificate that could open up a lot of different job opportunities outside of the specific masters that you're getting. So it's a great opportunity to really pursue two avenues in your opportunities for work. So I highly recommend them. If you do have any questions specifically for me, don't hesitate to reach out. Joshua Elliott, you can find me on the directory. But yeah, I look forward to your questions.
So we do want to take a second to just want to circle back to Dean Friend and see if there's anything that she wanted to highlight and or acknowledge before we open the floor for some questions and answers.
Just want to thank our professional advisors for this overview. It really provides a great scope of the different options and opportunities that are available for students. So I would love to hear what questions our guests might have about these different programs.
So feel free just to come off mic or raise a hand. If you have any questions, once again, you have many folks here that are more than qualified to answer them. So if you have any, the floor is open.
I would say too, you could put your questions in the chat also. So questions could go in the chat or just unmute the microphone to ask a question.
I have one.
Sure, Miranda.
For special education, the master's in that, for the both low and high incident, is there a like thesis that I have to write, or am I just gonna take like another version of a praxis? And I also want to know the length too, like how long it would take.
Emily or
Um,
Nichole?
I can kind of touch on that just a little bit. Typically for the Masters of Education in Special Education, if you are getting your bachelor's in education and are going to have your initial teaching license and you're going to go into that traditional track in either high or low incidence, I would say the average duration of the program is probably about 2 years. Generally, you would look at if you're like a full-time student, 9 credit hours per semester for the fall spring semesters. It's 30 credits overall for that. If you are interested in a specific degree plan example, I can also get your contact information and connect with you. And I can connect you to the academic advisor for that program, which is going to be Angela Aubrey, and she can show you a tentative degree plan and what that would look like. That tentative degree plan will outline each course that you will be required to take within the program and the semesters that you would take those. So it will show you the credit hours per semester, which courses, along with an anticipated timeline. Now, I will say if you're kind of interested in both high and low incidence, I know that for just a couple extra credits, you would be eligible to take the licensure exams for both low and high incidence to obtain dual endorsement on those. I'm not exactly sure what specific courses those would be or the number of credit hours for that, but Angela would be able to give you those specifics if you wanted a tentative degree plan for that as well, for that dual endorsement for both license.
Yeah, I would be interested in that. And I also wanted to know, I had a question. Hang on, I just forgot it. Maybe it'll come back to me, but
Okay. Yeah, Bobby, I did want to ask, for the students on this call, do we have their WCID numbers and contact information?
We have their contact information, do not have the
Okay.
WSU ID, but definitely can get those because we do have their contact information.
Okay, well then I will connect with you later and get Miranda's contact information from you so that way we don't have to share it with everybody, and then I'll connect with Miranda directly.
Perfect.
I remembered my question. Oh my gosh, wait. What? Oh, okay, never mind. I'll email you. I did, and then it just like left my brain. Yes, I will email you. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, sorry.
That works. What's going to happen is as soon as you get off the call, it's going to come rushing back to you. Yes, absolutely. We'll connect via email, and then I will include the academic advisor for that, Angela Aubrey, in there as well. You can also schedule an appointment with Angela to kind of talk about the program in detail, that degree plan, and things like that. So that might be something that we look into as well. So yeah, we'll connect.
I actually remembered. So sorry. When should I start the enrollment process? Like, because I graduate in a year from now, so I don't know when I should start applying. So should I start applying like when I'm graduating or after I graduate? Is there a specific time frame that you guys look for?
I don't know if there's a specific time frame. If you're graduating a year from now, there may be a possibility that the term is not necessarily available on the graduate application yet. So you may be looking a little bit closer to time. It may be possible that that term is listed on the graduate application. That might be something that we
I think
kind of,
actually, yeah, I think it is. I think you can
is it? Okay.
apply all the way up through the um, spring of 2027 right now. But
Okay.
I wonder too, depending on what undergraduate program you're in, you could start some of that accelerated options. So if you have some room in your bachelor's program plan of study, you could also talk with your current academic advisor about the opportunity to take some of those special education graduate courses during your last semester in the program or the last year in the
I was
program.
going to bring that up. There is something called a senior rule for any graduate program. So if you have room in your last semester or two as a senior, there is a special application that we can file to allow for you to start some. So I've had some students where maybe they transferred in a lot and they're part-time in their last few semesters that we applied for senior rule, and that allowed for them to actually start graduate school early, to be able to start taking some of those classes to be able to go towards their graduate program if they had some room in their schedule. So definitely something. I always say it's never too early to connect, to already start pre-planning, because they can talk through options and there might be a spark of, oh, that's exactly what I wanted to go ahead and do, and those options. So Angela will be able to map all of that out for you based on kind of what your end goal is, to be able to talk through some of those, because as we've already stated, there might be some other electives or anything you want to add on top of that as well. But there are a lot of options to get started a little early in regards to applying for a senior role, especially if you have any room. And if you don't, that's fine. I would always apply early than too late for that. But I do know that they have a lot of room in each of those semesters to kind of start for that one.
I would say
Okay.
too, what's really interesting is all the opportunities to customize your programs. So the person earlier that said they were interested in leadership, we heard about two different graduate certificate programs in organizational learning and organizational leadership. Each of those graduate certificate programs can count as elective credits for one of our master's programs, either the LID, the Learning and Instructional Design, or they could count for that non-licensure emphasis in the educational leadership master's program. So really, I think talking with an advisor about what you're interested in, you can take pieces of all of these different things, even if they're in different departments within our college, and put together something that really is unique, that really matches what your professional goals are.
Okay, thank you. And I just had one more question. Is there a practicum involved in the master's degree for special education?
There is a practicum that's involved, and you can also do your practicum for the Master's in Special Education during the summer. So, for example, this month of June coming up this summer, we're running literacy camps in 3 elementary schools in Wichita, and the students that are getting their Master's in Special Education, they can choose to do their literacy practicum there. And we also, through a grant, have some paid applied learning funding. So they're getting paid to do the practicum, and they're also having an impact on students by helping to deliver literacy interventions with kindergarten through third grade students.
Okay, thank you.
On the screen, I do have available QR codes that directly link you to the main pages of each one of the 4 departments that have been highlighted and featured this evening. So if that's something that you would like to be able to utilize, they are on the screen. The additional slide that's coming up after this will have all of our advisors and their contact information on it as well, and I will share that prior to us getting off the call this evening. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I might mention also the Shocker Career Accelerator, since we have some students, your current Wichita State students right now, and wonder if our advisors or if Dr. Barry, if you have anything you want to share about the Shocker Career Accelerator.
Yeah, I would say one of the things I highly encourage you all to do, and as you all know, Wichita State and definitely our college pride ourselves in applied learning. So if you're interested in any career opportunities, the Shocker Career Accelerator is a great opportunity to learn more. They have great resources, professional headshots, ways to connect to you, networking opportunities that are phenomenal. And I think it's a resource that we don't probably don't talk about them enough, but something that I would highly encourage you all to utilize, especially during your time here at Wichita State. I have found that students have found it very beneficial, where we have fairs on campus. Not only that, but then you're able to then be able to network with folks who can definitely set you up for success in some of these career avenues that you all are interested in. I know Emily probably has a couple of things that she also wants to highlight and mention as well. So Emily, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a phenomenal tool. And especially if you don't necessarily, you have some ideas of what you want to do, but don't know the avenues to get there. This is a great resource because they have a lot of tools that can help decipher some of your skills. And I know you're getting a bachelor's degree in something, but maybe your end goal is something that requires a master's degree. I've had a lot of my students also reach out to them. One of the biggest things I get from my students that they've enjoyed is they can help with resume building. So maybe you've done all of this applied learning. I mean, our college is full of that, and you don't necessarily know how to build that into a resume or put that or market yourself as a for employers. That's been a great tool, and a lot of students have had a tremendous success with meeting them to help get some coaching in that area. Also, interviewing, that was another area my students struggled with and were very nervous with interviews and kind of doing a mock interview. They've done that with our students as well as just helping with some interview skills that might help bring you over that edge, especially in a competitive market with different jobs and that sort of thing. That might help as well. So not only getting you connected with different employment opportunities, but making sure you're the best version of yourself as you go is always how I tell students about that. And so they've had a lot of success with using the resources that they offer. And again, headshots. You don't have to pay for that. You can go there. They look fantastic. So definitely, free for you to use as well. They also have interviewing if you're going on that interview and you want to get that job. They also have some, I think it's like, I can't remember what they call it, but it's where you could go and get some of those nice slacks and the business attire to kind of go on that interview, which I know a couple of my students have because they went in to get an interview for a teaching position. But if it is a graduate program that requires a job and you're trying to get that job for that program, it is something that no need to go and buy something you'll wear one time or perhaps a couple of times in your lifetime. You could go there and definitely borrow some of that to go on those great interviews. So just a lot of different resources for you.
I believe that resource is called the Career Closet.
It was
Yes.
something closet, but since this was recorded, I did not want to say it verbally and it be wrong. I also wanted to just back up what Dean Friend was talking about. I always talk about academic plans being a puzzle and that we try to fit every single piece to make the puzzle that you are dreaming of. So you could have all these ideas and we could help pave that way to allow that to to make sure that happens and fit every piece together. I have a lot of students that end up coming from a lot of different areas and they have these ideas and these different certificates to add on because they have so many passions and they love to learn and they want to make themselves as reputable as possible. Anything helps, to make yourself stand out and have these skills that can take you further into a lot of these areas. So I definitely love talking about, hey, let's find out how to, create the best plan for you with all of the different ideas and skills that you want to work on and develop.
Another thing that I would mention that we're building out and should be launched this summer, going into orientation season, is going to be what we call our toolkit. And so it's going to be a great resource that will have a lot of these things available, almost very similar to how a Blackboard shell is built. So we consider it a toolkit from start to finish, just for our undergraduate and graduate programs, additional ways to utilize these resources. I know it's overwhelming sometimes. We forget about them. So this is going to be a centralized place and location where you're able to access those resources throughout your entire time here within the College of Education. So we went through our first draft recently in our Student Centeredness Committee of the outline and kind of building it out. So really excited to be able to launch that for you all as an additional resource. Any other questions? And as I stated, there is the contact information for all of our advisors. So feel free to take a picture of that. If you want to contact them, we will also make sure we do our due diligence and we will be following up with you. We do have all of your contact information from you registering to be on this call this evening. And so we will definitely make sure that we follow up soon and get you additional information, make sure that we have all of the people that you need to, that would be beneficial for you to reach out to, have that information sent to you as well. We have a few more minutes, but Dean Friend, any of my colleagues, any of our participants, anything else you would like to know or to elevate before we depart this evening?
I just wanted to add, I get a lot of students that sometimes are overwhelmed with the process of going into graduate school, and they have a lot of questions about the process of graduating, but seamlessly going right into the graduate. I've done collaborative appointments where the undergraduate advisor and the graduate advisor was there to help answer questions that maybe you go to the store and you forgot what you went to the store to go purchase. It's kind of like those questions that are in your head that, we can help to just make sure it's as seamless as possible. So definitely, if you've not heard anything from today, reach out to us. We're happy to just help bridge and make it the easiest process as possible, especially with finishing a bachelor's degree, which is a great, achievement in and out of itself, but then also continuing on to graduate school as well. So if that makes that transition a little easier, just to make sure everything, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, we can definitely do that as well, because we are a great advising team here and we want to make sure you're bridge to success there. So.
All right. Well, if there is nothing else, we thank you all so much for your time. We look forward to helping support you to your next educational milestone and your next professional milestone. So please feel free to reach out to us if you need anything. And as I stated earlier, we will be following up with you as well. Anything in the chat? All right. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it and have a great rest of your evening.